Okay, 3.1, the continuation. This is the multiple choice part. Only 6 questions, but I thought it'd be good to really nail down the chain rule with all these examples. And then for this part, you get to see how College Board uses the chain rule. Um, some of them might be different, but some of them are going to be similar. So if f of x is equal to that right there, then f prime of x will be equal to, okay, now the chain rule, I see a couple of chains that are going to happen. So I see that we have the 3 out here, so that's going to require the derivative. Now when I work inside, when I take the derivatives of here, so I'll take the derivative of cosine, then that is going to require the chain rule. And then when I take the derivative of the natural log of x squared, that's going to require the chain rule. So a couple of chain rules happening here. So first we'll do the 3, and then we'll do cosine of the square root of x minus the natural log of x squared. That will be squared. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply. Now I'm working inside. We'll take the derivative of cosine, which is going to be negative sine of the square root of x. But now I'm going to pause because now I have to take the derivative of the inside of that. So times by 1 over 2 root x. Now I'll do minus. I'll take the derivative of the natural log of x squared, which is going to be 1 over x squared. And then I'm going to multiply by the derivative of the inside of that, which would be 2x. As far as what they do to simplify, so I can see that that a is not going to be correct. So we got 3. All of these have that part right here. Now we have negative sine of the square root of x. So I don't think it's going to be C. So it's not going to be C. I think it's going to be between B and D. So we have but this one doesn't have the chain rule like it does here. So negative 1 over 2 square root of x, and then this simplifies to be 2 over x. So it's got to be D right here. For 2, let f of x equal 5x to the 4th and g of x is equal to e to the 2x plus x. If h is the function defined by the composition of these two, which of the following gives the correct expression for h prime? So I'm actually just going to take a second to write out what h of x is. So h of x is going to be equal to f, but we're going to plug this in for x right here. So it's going to be equal to 5 parenthesis e to the 2x plus x to the 4th. So h prime is going to require the chain rule. I see 2 spots for the chain rule. I see the inside of this power, but then I also see the inside right here. So we'll drop the 4 down. And that's going to be equal to 4 times by 5. And then it's going to be e to the 2x plus x raised to the 3rd, multiply by the derivative of the inside. So taking the derivative of e to the 2x, that's going to be e to the 2x times by 2 for the derivative of the inside of that, and then plus 1. Okay, so let's see what we've got. So we're going to have 20. So whoa, 1 second. What are we doing here? Oh, so this is the general note. You got like this part right here, which is the general notation. So yeah, I that makes sense. I'm just going to pay attention to the right side because the right side is what's going to match what I have right here. So on the right side, we're going to have the 20. So I don't think it's going to be D. So we have the 20 here. Okay. And then we're going to have e to the 2x plus x to the 3rd. So e to the 2x plus x. So it's not going to be B because this has plus 1. I don't think it's going to be A either. It doesn't have enough. think it's going to be C. We can kind of just verify. So we have the 20. We have that part right here. And we have 2e to the 2x plus 1. So I think we've got it. So, cool. All right. For 3, let f be the function defined here, which is following is equivalent to the derivative of f. So let's just take this expression. So we'll find f prime of x. So we'll take the derivative of the outside part, which is cosine. So it's going to be cosine of h of x times by the derivative of h of x. So I'm just going to say times by h prime of x since I don't know what h of x is. That should be it. So I think this one's got to be C. For 4, okay, take the derivative. I see the derivative happening here. I see the chain rule happening here. And I see the chain rule happening here. So those should be all the chain rules. So chain rule in general, chain rule, chain rule. So we'll bring down the 4 of e to the 3x plus sine of 2x. Then that's going to be to the third. So we drop the 4, we decrease by 1. And then we're going to take the derivative of the inside. So we'll take the derivative of e to the 3x. Keep in mind that the derivative of the inside is 3. So I'm just going to say 3 times by e to the 3x. And then the derivative of sine of 2x. So the derivative of the inside is 2. So I'll have to multiply by 2. But that's 2 cosine of 2x. A looks a little bit too short. We have the 4. We have e to the 3x. Sine of 2x to the third, all these have that. We have e to the 3x, but we need 3, so it's not going to be b. And then it's got to be cosine, not sine. So D is going to be the answer. For 5, we have x to the third. G of x is equal to x over x minus 1. If h is the function defined here, which of the following gives the correct expression? So I'm just going to define what h of x is. H of x is going to be equal to, so we're plugging in this part for x. So that becomes x over x minus 1 to the third. So h prime of x is going to be equal to 3 x over x minus 1 squared times by, now when I take the derivative of the inside, that's going to require the quotient rule. So that's going to be low d high minus high d low, which would just be 1, and then square the bottom. I wonder if they're simplifying this part right here. It doesn't look like it, because I actually think C is the answer. I can kind of see it right here. Get it? Okay, x minus 1 minus x minus 1 squared. Yep, so gotta be that. For 6. Okay, so we're trying to find f. We're trying to find the derivative of f. So we'll take the derivative of that. We'll say f prime of x is going to be equal to, the derivative of e to the x is itself, so this will be e to the h of x times by the derivative of the inside, which is h prime of x. So I think C is going to be our answer. Okay. And that should be everything for the chain rule.